Ferris is the founder of Max Funds. He joins us tonight. Max Ferris, thanks so much for coming on. This story, it's almost impossible to summarize in a TV script because it seems to have threads that lead to almost everybody in authority on the planet. It's enough to make you into a conspiracy nut. Can you summarize what you think this means?
Yeah, it's so big that the guy who was in charge of the Enron collapse, which was very complicated, lots of pieces. This is much bigger and much more absurd and ridiculous than Enron, says the guy who's now running this company, who was the former Enron head, who was brought in to fix that mess. It's very complicated. I'm not very simple. You kind of touch on it. It's basically a giant affinity fraud. If you want to say who he is, he's the Bernie Madoff of crypto. He pretended to be this woke world with the donations, giving money to certain specific politicians. It was to create an image of trust, kind of like how Bernie Madoff had a foundation that gave money to hospitals and charity, so you wouldn't think it was a fraud. And then regulators who already exist, we don't need new regulators, who would have had authority over some of these preposterous yield products that they had, wouldn't do anything. In fact, he was trying to direct the regulators to his competitor, Binance, who then saw that he was doing that. And he's the one who took out this company by causing a run on the bank, knowing that this guy never really had this money left because they were looting it, gambling it away into nothing, and it wasn't really there. He started the panic and crushed his competitor. That's basically what happened.
It's just, I mean, I'm not really qualified to assess some of the business portions of the story, but I can certainly assess the media portion. So he was out there constantly saying, yes, I'm making billions, but it's not for me. I'm an effective altruist. It's really for other people. I'm doing this because I'm a good person. And that seemed to deflect any real media scrutiny.
Media and regulatory scrutiny, and a lot of the customer base liked his vibes and his, so he was appealing to a lot of different people, regulators, politicians, customers, and making everybody feel like your money must be safe because why is he on the cover of all these magazines? There's a lot of faith issues in crypto because, there was a lot of frauds this year. A lot of them collapsed. He doesn't want to be that one. The best way to do this, he was his own PR agent, basically. He was very effective at it by bribing the right people, giving the right donations, creating the right image of the genius altruist. And it was all really to run a swindle, it seems like. And I don't know how much of it was just gambling with the client money that went to nothing and then some looting at the end, or how much was all looting. We're never going to, well, we hopefully will know the full percentages when this is all done.
It's an amazing story. We're going to obviously stay on it. Jonas Max Ferris, thank you so much.
Thanks.
So we've been telling you for the past 15 minutes that this was all very obvious, and any investor who paid attention would have known that there was something amiss here very clearly. Dave Portnoy is a sports guy. He's obviously the founder of Barstool Sports, sports media giant, online gambling giant, also an investor. He joins us on set now to assess. So that's really the question. Thank you, Dave, for coming. That's really the question. You are, I don't know how to describe your investing, but it's something you do on the side, but you're into it. So you're not like a trained expert.
Yeah, FTX was an advertiser of ours.
Exactly, but you're an enthusiast. Was this obvious to you that there was something weird going on?
No, I don't know how it could be obvious to anybody, a normal citizen. I mean, if you see Tom Brady pitching FTX on the Super Bowl, you're probably going to believe it's a legitimate thing. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. As the stories have come out in crypto, I'm not paying a ton of attention. There was articles, I think CoinDesk wrote it. The thing that's shocking to me, and I'm in the gambling field, we're rigorously regulated. Like, they know what I did 20 years ago.
Yes.
Everything. If I do one thing weird, I hear about it. There's companies writing articles. We knew this guy was in the Bahamas. Why? Because it's unregulated, living in with each other, running this, and it was well known. I mean, if somebody did that in the United States, and meanwhile, he's cavorting with politicians at the highest level of government, the fact he wasn't investigated, to me, just shows what a lot of this country is all about. People are just trying to make money. They're being dishonest. They're saying the right things to make money, and he's lining everybody's pockets. It wasn't obvious to me. But if you're meeting with Gensler and you're meeting with politicians, I don't know how in a million years they didn't know that. It was pretty obvious. It wasn't a welcome. I mean, I wasn't looking for it, but once you start going back, it's like, holy cow, how did they not know this? Again, contrast that with like what I go through because people don't like me, and it's night and day. I mean, it really is quite stark. So no, not a normal person who is investing would ever know. Steph Curry, Tom Brady, it's the Miami arena down here is FTX. A normal person got taken advantage of, basically. And where's the government? For example, An offshore casino, they can't advertise in the Super Bowl. We can't take money from them. That's all illegal. Why was FTX legal? Why could they advertise? Who's regulating that? That to me is where the real big problem is. It's because the guy is spending millions and millions and millions of dollars to grease the right wheels.
It also seems like now that it's failed in this spectacular way, that failure will be used as a justification for massive regulation.
100%. And you mentioned it. He was the guy supposedly helping craft the regulation for future crypto, which is insane. Are you looking at his background at all to do that? It will be, because what you said, money wants to control the money. And if you do crypto right, I think in the long term, this will be good for Bitcoin, but it's hard to control. So I think a lot of people, politicians, whatever, looked at this guy, hey, if we partner up with him, we can make sure we have our hands in the pie and kind of control what's going on. Also, side note, these politicians who are deleting the photos with them, that's like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What do you think? People don't know you took a photo with them? You delete them? It's out there. You could argue.
How hard is it to control photos once they're on the internet, Dave?
They're gone. I mean, they are gone. Listen, nobody knows more than me. Trust me. But that's part of it. I looked at what this guy was doing. It's like, I can't walk down the street if I hold a girl's hand. It's a story. What's Dave doing? This guy's... It's like a X-rated movie out in the Bahamas and nobody cared. It's like, what are you doing? And I don't care about Judge, but nobody looked into it. They're just looking the other way, taking pictures, taking his money. He's, like you said, the #2 donor for the Democrats. Not one word, not one peep. And to be honest, if this didn't fall apart, if the Binance guy, who's a savage, didn't do this rumor and probably create the run, nobody would ever know. He'd be the altruistic guy. Nobody's altruistic. All the crap everybody says, whether you're a politician, is for power, money most of the time. People want to get rich, and I trust the guys, weirdly like me, it is me. I want to make money. I want to spend money. I want to have a great life. This guy want to make money, give it away. No, you weren't. He took a loan for himself. He was paying for the penthouse through the company money. He was doing whatever he wanted, and nobody took 2 seconds to look. 2 seconds. I talked to him, by the way, when they advertised. He was always a weird guy. Like this charm and all that stuff. No way. He was the least charming guy I've ever spoken. No, there wasn't like, oh my God, this guy's some sort of genius. Maybe he arbitraged with an MIT degree to make some money, but he wasn't some charming guy who charmed the pants off people. He couldn't charm anybody. You know how he charmed them? With his wallet, money, donations, and they looked the other way. There is no other explanation for that. I'm far more charming in a one-on-one sit down than he is, and you know what? I end up at the blunt end of a hit piece every 2 weeks. That's because I'm not writing checks.
Do you think, I guess it's unknowable, but just having watched this for a while, will we ever really get to the bottom of what happened?
No. Listen, they say that he had this research firm, they loaned all the money, and then the Binance guy, CZ Binance, whatever his name, they were competitors. And it's all crypto, some of it's magic, but I don't know that we'll truly know what happened, because there's a lot of big players who probably lost a lot of money. The bankruptcy today, what they released is crazy, what they were spending money on. But who knows? I never think we'll know anything. I don't want to be some conspiracy debate when there's big money involved. I never think I'm getting a straight shake. Honestly, how can Gensler sit down with a guy who is living in a penthouse in the Bahamas with 15 people who are all having sex with each other, spending money on everything, and he's like, yeah, we're going to write the legislation with you. Honestly, how is that possible? I can't tie my shoe. This guy's doing that and getting away with it. It's like, come on to the White House. Let's sit down and, make some legislation. It's insane.
You need to spread some donations around, Dave Portnoy. Call Maxine Waters and fund your next campaign. Dave Portnoy, what a great explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.